Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Paranormal Weekend Brew Show. I'm Nighthawk, your host, and we got Eric backstage waiting patiently, and we're going to get into a lot of good topics today of the cryptid field, just so you know. But we're going to get through the disclaimer first because I have had to fight all week long to save 3 or 4 of our podcasts from being censored on YouTube this past week. So that being said, the disclaimer is for Nighthawk High Strangeness podcast channel and all the podcasts on the channel. This channel may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use, which is the Copyright Act of 1976. Nighthawk High Strangeness podcast channel and all the podcasts on the channel declare fair use of any and all content. YouTube, understand that. Any and all content, including the music, which is, by the way, brought to you with the intros and stuff through the free app called YouCut, which is a really good app, actually, and it's free. Just got to watch a couple commercials while you do your video editing. Anyways, copyright disclaimer is Nighthawk High Strangeness podcast channel declares fair use of any and all content, including the music, to be used for the purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, which, by the way, we will be having a news reporting paranormal show coming up, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, which we all love parody, SNL, you can't miss it. And let's not forget the entertainment value. Per Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, otherwise known herein as the Fair Use Act. Okay, and YouTube, remember that. Okay. Oh, it has been a battle this week. That's why I didn't have my podcast last night. I was on my phone trying to battle YouTube again.
Jeez.
This is getting ridiculous when they're trying to steal our content, and trying to claim that it's theirs. It's getting absurd. It really is. I wish there was a way that that we could have freedom of speech and freedom to entertain in any way we want, that isn't unethical, if you know what I mean, or immoral. It's ridiculous. He may change it, but it's going to take some time because they are set in their ways, and you got that damn AI bots that do a lot of the censoring too, and battling AI. Forget about it.
That was one of his biggest things because he's tired of all this BS censorship that's going on.
Yep. Anyways, I'm going to go to the comments and say hello to everybody that's there, at least for right now, and see who we got. Oh my goodness, we got Demaria. Good to see you. All right, there's that bizarre and unknown guy. I don't know who he is. He's just sneaking in here. Roxanne, keep an eye on him. Good to see you, Roxanne. All righty, let's see. Carl, good to see you again, bro. Good to see you. There's Melissa. Good to see you, Melissa. Hopefully David's listening too. All right. Twisted, good to see you. Awesome. I love seeing family in here. Let's see. Rhiannon, good morning to you. I'm going to call you Rhi, all right? RHI. Is that okay? Let me know if that's okay in the chat, because I like that. I like abbreviating names. It's easier for my brain to interpret. Sorry. Nothing against the name, hon. Ray, good to see you. Juno, my brother. Yeah, Juno, we got to get together, man. We got to get together and do a podcast about where you're at. So I'm sure Eric and I and you can work on some kind of date and time you know, where you're available. Okay. So if you can, reach out to us. All right. All right. This heifer, good to see you. All right. Well, we're gonna get into some subjects today, Eric, that I think a lot of people are gonna be really wanting to listen close to. I've been steering away from the cryptid talk and stuff for quite a while now because I wanted to dedicate it to like one or two shows on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, we started, the Midnight's Monsters podcast again. And that day I was kind of out of it, but we did an hour long show about it. Ryan, Paul
Yep.
Tremblay, and myself, and it actually turned out pretty good. And we're going to do that on the first and third Wednesday of every month at midnight. Okay, well, 11:59 is when we're going to start it. 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. So whatever that is everywhere else, I'm not sure. Um, and we got on the subject, and I started thinking about it. We got on a topic about how people are just so um, defensive of their beliefs and stuff. Or their opinions, and everybody's allowed to. It's like that old saying: everybody's allowed to have an opinion. Everybody has an a-hole, so everybody's allowed to have an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So, and at least that's what my old man used to say. And but here lately there has been a lot of dissension, and it's between the woo and the flesh and blood, and Daniel Benoit, my brother down here with the ECBRO, and I have talked about it, and he agrees. David and Melissa and I and Tracy have talked about it, and we all agree that you can have both. You know, so there shouldn't be any you know discernment in the groups, in the chats and all that, and in the groups. And I've just seen a lot of it lately, so that's why I kind of backed off on it, because I wanted to let everybody just vent, until I spoke my mind. And today we're going to speak our mind. I'm going to start off the topic with Dogman and Bigfoot, and then lead into probably the reptilian thing. And those will be the three starting subjects that I'm going to be discussing today. And hopefully you can help out too, Eric, there, like you always do with your knowledge. The one thing I had an epiphany this past Wednesday night with Ryan, and I don't know why I didn't even think about this before. The encounters that Tracy and I had with the dog man, or it was either a dog man or a werewolf. Who knows? Can't really tell the difference when it's pitch black at night and you're walking your dog at 1 o'clock in the morning. So, that being said, every encounter I've had, they seem to run away. Okay. They don't stick around. They don't try to, instigate a fight or attack you per se all the time. Now, there are some instances out there where you'll get bluff charged, and you'll be just like Bigfoot does. You'll be encroaching on their territory, and you'll be dealing with something big and bad, that wants to rip your head off. That is true. Okay. But the majority of the encounters out there seem to be where they interact with the human briefly out of curiosity, and then they turn and run away. Now, my current belief on that is this. Now, correct me in the chat if you guys think I'm wrong, or if you think I'm barking up the wrong alley. Get it? Barking up the wrong alley. That was pretty good. That's what you call parody there, YouTube. Parody. Okay. Anyways, the encounters that we encounter with Dogman or, any type of canine cryptid, and where they run away tells me that I should have looked at it as being part of a wolf pack. Okay. In the wild, the alphas don't walk in the front of the pack. Okay. They walk in the very rear of the pack, behind the youngsters and the elderly ones and the betas. The alphas are way in the back, keeping an eye on the whole pack, making sure they're safe. Okay. Why isn't it like that with Dogman? Now think about it. The beginning of the pack is going to have your elderly, okay, your elderly ones that are wise, but they can't physically protect the pack from harm, pretty much. I mean, they can and they can't, okay? And then you have the young ones, the juveniles, and stuff like that, okay? So it would make sense to me that a lot of the experiences that we're having were instances where they turn and run away. We're dealing with something that can't protect its pack, which means it's either an extremely old Dogman or it's a juvenile Dogman running back to the pack to warn the alpha. Okay. Because the alpha is probably in the rear of the pack. Now think about that for a moment. Okay. It's a pretty good sound theory. Okay. And I'm 100% on board with this whole scenario happening. Okay. And a lot of the times when we deal with an aggressive Dogman, that's the alpha. That's the king of the pack. Okay. He is the alpha. Okay. And his alpha, his alpha mate is going to be right alongside him. Okay. So you're going to be dealing with something a lot more standoffish than you would if it turns and run away, So I don't know. What do you think about that theory?
I mean, it'd fall in line if they have the same concept as a pack of wolves. Then I mean, that would fall in line exactly with that. You got, the way I look at it, they have both the mentality of a wolf and the mentality of a human. So, man, I can see that being a pretty feasible theory. I really can.
Yeah. I thought that too, and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't know why I didn't even think of it sooner than that. And there's probably, researchers and investigators out there that are going to go, oh, I knew that. That's fine. I'm glad you're so all knowing. Oh, Swami, praise be to the all knowing, I don't worry about that. I don't let ego get involved into my knowledge and to the way I process things. If I have an epiphany, I have an epiphany. I mean, it happens to all of us, really. But I'm sure others have probably thought of that, and that's fine. If they did, why didn't they share it? But that is probably one of the things that I have been dwelling on lately. And it just seems like, when you're dealing with something like that, with a pack mentality, that's the way they're going to do it. They're going to put the older ones and the youngsters in the front where they can keep an eye on them and keep them safe. So, and, it could even be the same thing with Sasquatch, Bigfoot. If you think about it, you have a run-in with one and it's tree peeping you, okay? And it's peeping at you behind a tree and stuff and looking at you. And it's pretty big. It's probably 7-8 foot tall, jet black.
Yeah.
But it all of a sudden screams, or does like I like to call it, the bionic bird sound, okay? and all of a sudden you hear this crashing and thunderous, movement coming through the woods at you, like a bulldozer going through a forest. And maybe that's the alpha coming,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's the alpha coming to protect its young or its elderly. It's the same principle with the dog man. Why couldn't they both have that type of demeanor when they're interacting with us at first? And it makes perfectly good
Mm-hmm.
sense that the young ones and the elderly ones would be the ones we'd be experiencing the most in the wild. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. You could also look at it this way: them young ones could be the scouts or the lookouts. Look how many animals in nature have lookouts. In case a predator comes up or something like that.
Yep.
So is that what it's doing? Is it going, hey, 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 you're a little close here today, buddy? And
Yeah.
then it
Yeah.
screams, and all of a sudden, Big Daddy comes bulldozing his way to you. That
Yep.
could, hey,
Exactly.
Rhonda, uh, it
Yeah.
could
And
be, he's like,
yep. I want to answer Danny's question there. Yes, they
yeah,
do run in packs. Um, One thing we discussed Wednesday night on Midnight Monsters was the pack mentality. And Ryan and I, we were under the belief that there's at least 5 to 6 in a dogman pack. Okay. And that's the bare minimum, because you're going to have 2 elders, you're going to have 2 alphas, 2 betas, and then probably 2 juveniles, which is 8 altogether. But we say bare minimum 5 or 6, but it could be up to 10, 12 in a pack. And if they follow the guidelines of the wildlife, and like the wolves, like the timber wolves do, they're going to walk in like a single file type of a line or a direction, okay, to where the elderly and the young ones are going to be in the front of the line. Okay, so that's why I've come to that conclusion, Danny. Just so you know, Urso, good to see you. Um, but it makes perfectly good sense that that's how you would protect your pack, and your family brood, like with Bigfoot. Um,
mm-hmm.
because they're going to bluff charge you, and yeah, if it's a young Bigfoot and they bluff charge you, that's something that they're taught by their alphas to do, okay, and by their elderly to do, to protect their pack or their family unit and their themselves. So why wouldn't it make sense that it's that way with Bigfoot and Dogman? It makes
Think about
perfectly good
this.
sense.
Yeah. Think about this too. You got a young buck that's coming of age and his testosterones are going 90 to nothing. I mean, he's just reeking of testosterone. Could that bluff charge be him preparing himself for one day to be the alpha male of the pack, to challenge the alpha, to challenge Big Daddy? Could that be what you're experiencing on that as well? Is that
Yeah.
why you get some of these young 7-footers messing around with you because their testosterone is going 90 to nothing? They're like, dude, I'm big, bad, and burly. I'm going to come get you. I've often wondered that several times myself.
Yeah.
Do you think? Ursula wants to know, do you think an exiled dogman from a pack would form a pack with the other exiles? It's possible wolves do it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because it does happen in the wild. If you watch the timber wolf, if one is exiled, say if somebody one of the pack, the betas challenge the alpha and loses, and they get exiled out of the pack, that beta is gonna be on a run to start his own pack. So yeah, he's gonna find
Mm-hmm.
others that are exiled and wanting to have that family unit. It would only make sense. It would only make sense. Nobody likes to hunt alone. Nobody likes to live alone. We all like to interact at some point in time with, whether we call it extended family or pact or whatnot. And humans are the same way. So why wouldn't it? It would make sense that an exiled one would definitely be looking. they would start out probably looking for a mate, and then go from there to start their own pack. So that's
Then
from my experiences.
look how many times, like when one gets exiled, a female does go with him as well. Sometimes she
Mm-hmm.
gets her butt whooped. Sometimes she doesn't, especially if she's in season. If she's in
All right.
season and say one gets exiled, it's been known that she's been followed the exile one because, well, she's in season. Season. Roxanne says if dogman testosterone goes high in a young one, I can see them being worse than an elephant when testosterone comes in and the elephant are violent at any. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that I've often wondered that because I've heard so many stories about this stuff happening. And I was like, put biology into this, and look what we do. When we come of age and testosterone starts wreaking havoc on our system, we get to becoming rebellious. We get to becoming, hey, I want to be top dog. If we do that stuff, it would not be far fetched for Bigfoot or Dogman to be the same way.
Exactly. Hey, Jessica. Hey, Rocky Mountain. Yeah, Carl, I agree with you. I agree with you. I used to hunt alone too, a lot, and but then again, I'd go out with elderly friends of mine that I wouldn't want them out there by themselves. That's what I mean by that. When it comes to the lone wolf that's exiled type of thing. So because sometimes they are the elderly ones that are kicked out of the pack. So
Yeah, I mean, that's another example saying alpha does get bested. Usually, the alpha female's been dedicated to him for so long, will leave with him quite often, unless she's got a
exactly.
litter. You were talking about a spotter or a lookout. Here in West Virginia, spots have been found flattened to make a perfect lookout, whether Civil War soldiers, Bigfoot or Dogman. Yeah, I've got one right here on the other side of my drive, Danny. That's not uncommon for Bigfoot to
Yeah.
do that. They have spotters. It's
Yeah.
like I said, scouts. They send out scouts,
Exactly.
lookouts. I
Exactly.
mean,
Just like the indigenous people used to do, or even the military does. They're going to send out their recon to go in front, and whether it's 2x2 or whatnot, they're going to send them out there to scout ahead to see what is up in front of them. If they have any
yeah,
dangers they've got to overcome, or an enemy they have to take on. That's the whole purpose of a scouter, and for information too. To let
yeah.
to let the alpha know where the game is, to let the alpha know the easiest
Mhm.
route to take, um, you know, all kinds of different stuff. So, but yeah, the scouters are the ones that we're actually probably running into, which are the young ones or the elderly. Okay, because the elderly are going to know how to scout. Think about it. Okay, some of the best scouters you got and trackers you've got are going to be the elderly. Okay. Um,
They're
so
old and
yeah, I mean,
wise.
it would make yeah, it would make sense.
Roxanne says, "Do you think Dogman takes care of their hurt and elderly like wolf packs do?" I do.
I think I don't, I mean, it's kind of up. I don't know how I feel about that, Eric. I think that they would definitely take care of their elderly if they're hurt because
Mhm.
first off, they don't, one thing I've learned about with dealing with wildlife and stuff, um, you learn that they have an appreciation for one another a lot more than humanity does. You know, they have more of an appreciation for their elderly. I mean, look at what we do to our elderly. We stick them in nursing homes or we let them die in hospitals, it's no way for us to treat our elderly. Okay. Um, yeah, I just, I'm kind of, I don't know. I hope and I pray that they take care of their elderly and um, they're injured. Because sometimes, one of the pack being lame, it's like the weakest link of the chain type of a scenario. What do you do with that weak link? You either eliminate it or you nurse it back to being a strong link again. You know, and I think they have that same concept. Okay, that same thought process. Do I eliminate them for being too old, even though they know a lot more than I do, or do I let them stay with the pack and just keep an eye on them? I think they keep an eye on them. That's just me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and there comes a time where, I mean, this is going to hurt some people's feelers, but it is what it is. There comes a time when they're just too weak, and well, the strong survives.
Yeah.
If you come too weak where you can't do anything, you can't eat, you can't hunt, you can't do none of the stuff. Well, it's time to
Yeah.
go the last travel.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's
Mm-hmm.
so many theories out there about Dogman and about Bigfoot that to me it makes sense that they would be modeling themselves after the indigenous nations. We've seen that with the formations with the in the woods and stuff with the teepee formations, the adobe formations, all kinds of different stuff you find in the woods, the bent over trees. Those are all things, and rock stacking. Those are all things that we did. So either we learned it from them or they learned it from us, one of the two. Okay, that's the options we got. But it would make even more sense that they would take what they learn from their environment and the animals and the wildlife within that environment to model themselves after. So it's kind of like when a dog man pack observes a pack of wild wolves, okay, timber wolves in the wild, and they watch them, they watch their formation, they watch how they hunt, they watch, all that. They're going to derive parts of each of those instances and adapt them to their own pack. It makes sense. It's just common sense that you would do that. If I was in the wild all the time, I would do that too, because you got to survive. How else are you going to survive unless you learn? And if you don't
Mm-hmm.
learn, then bye bye, your ass is grass.
Yep. Roxanne says, what I think she means to say is, what if outside dog man wants to come into the pack, especially if they find a female dog man they want to be with? You think the one will be welcome? For me, I think it depends on the size of the pack, if they need the strength or not.
Yeah,
That's
well,
just my theory. That's based off of nature.
and in nature too, though, you will notice that whenever there is a possible mate for, say, a beta female that's not in the pack that comes to the pack, they're going to mark their territory and they're going to mark the scent back and forth because it's a way to introduce themselves. It's kind of like a domesticated dog sniffing each other's ass. That's how they say hello.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they're going to interact with the scent trails first, back and forth, and certain, vocalizations to let them know. And typically, if the beta male coming into the pack that wants to be with the beta female of that pack, they're going to be submissive to the alpha. They're going to lay down on their back. They're going to expose their belly and their throat to the alpha. Okay. and this is fact. Okay, this is fact. Okay, because I've raised wolves. Okay, my father and I, we had a wolf. Okay, um, so they're going to expose itself. Okay, and be submissive, and then the alpha will make the decision on whether to accept them or not. And usually, 99% of the time, they accept them. So because they're submissive, and then their pack is stronger and bigger. So, but that's just the way of it is, you know. Um, it's it's a form of respect, you know. It's kind of like um, back in the old days when men used to be men and ask, you know, the prospective female of interest for the right to marry. They would go to the father or to the grandfather, somebody in the family. And with my people, it used to be we would take an offering to the father and offer, you know, whether it was 3 ponies and, you know, and whatever, you know. But it's a form of respect. Okay, and I truly believe that they can do that too. Bigfoot and Dogman has that capability of doing that type of thing too when it comes to perspective, you know, interaction with a mate. Okay, a perspective mate. All right. So yeah, I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't adapt certain ways of other wildlife and humanity's um, ways of doing things. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it makes perfectly good sense. You know, they learn from us, we learn from them. So
No, I mean, look, you know, so and it's not just native culture that used to give offerings to marry a woman. I mean, Norse did it. So many other cultures did it all the time. They would give gifts to the father or the lead male of the family. If the father wasn't alive, whoever the next in line was, they would offer him gifts for the hand of marriage of the daughter, and then they would
right,
give wedding dowry and stuff like that. So the custom of the male's family paid for the wedding, that all comes from ancient traditions. That's what people did for so long.
yeah, yeah. A little twisted
I'm
says
taking
there's
it
a
easy, man.
hierarchy. Yeah, there's definitely a hierarchy.
Mm, there it is. I just lost it. There it is.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's. I mean, there is, and but I mean, it's at the same time too. I mean, if there's something that the alpha don't like about it, you
right.
know, the one coming in, or it doesn't submit and decides it wants to challenge. Well, I mean, it's going to be a bad day for one of the two.
Danny, take it easy and tell your daughter we said happy birthday. Okay.
Heck yeah.
Thank you for being here, Danny.
Hey, Ida.
Hey, Ida, good to see you.
Women had more. Yeah, I mean, we were taught that women were subspecies to male, and that's horse crap. Women were never. In some cultures, yes. Majority of the cultures, no. Women were not subspecies to males. They had just as much rights as a male did. They can divorce. They could be part of councils. They could be, you know, there was a lot of stuff that happened. I mean, they were valuable. Think about it. If one of my daughters marries a man, then I gain a son in my family to help me work my farm. This is the mindset that some of our ancestors. This is how they work. So yeah, I mean, was it better to have sons? Yes. The more sons you have, the more planting you can do, the more crops, the more value you can bring in. But that didn't mean that the daughters weren't valuable. In my family, when I got married, I went to my grandfather and my father's dad and my dad to blessings of marriage that has been done. Yeah, I mean that's what I did with mine. I went to, you know, both my ex-wives. I went to their dad. Do you have stories, Nighthawk, of humans taking a dog man or a woman taking a dog man as their spouse and welcomed into the dog man tribe?
I've heard of that happening. I've never had a witness or an encounter presented to me in that way. Um, but I mean, it would make sense because we all say that Dog Man and Bigfoot are basically humanoid, half human, half animal. So it would make sense. I mean, apes have a way of selecting somebody as not really a mate. If it's, say, a human, they have a way of accepting them as part of their brood. Okay. Um, so it's possible. There was an instance, and I remember this too. There was an incident in Russia a while ago, like 20 some years ago. And it was reported that a wild woman was found and that it was with the uh, the Bigfoot in Russia, and it was found in a cave. And the male bluff charged out of the cave, and apparently this Russian military squad shot and killed it. And when they went into the cave and found the female was more human than she was animal. But the alpha on the ground was more animal than he was human. So, do we take encounters that are reported like that in other parts of the world as proof 100%? No, not really, because it's pretty much hearsay and speculation, okay, on our part. So, but you have to open yourself up to the possibility that it could happen. So,
Twisted wants to know:
yeah,
are there encounters of dogman pups with like babies? Yeah.
yeah. I've actually had reports of small, uh, almost infantile dog men, um, and it would make sense because if they model themselves after the coyote or the wolf, or even the domesticated dog, if you think about how they nurture their pups, they're going to keep their pups in one place, and eventually those pups will explore just the area of their den. You know what I mean? So, and
Mm-hmm.
eventually they'll get bolder and bolder and bolder and wander more further and further away from the den, but
Mm-hmm.
always under the protective eye of the mother or a guardian that's overseeing them and protecting them like a babysitter. So,
And you got to think too. There's been a lot of times, like when the elderly or the weak couldn't go hunt, they were left behind to take care of the babies. It was their responsibility. There was always someone there to watch over the babies. The girl.
that's funny.
Oh,
Now,
but yeah, I
Michael
mean,
Jackson's a whole nother subject, guys, by the way. Um,
yeah, he went home.
I mean, you'd be surprised what I've been finding online about Michael Jackson. Trust me.
That is one. I better not say it. That'll be mean. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. um, but why, bud? I'm doing something. You're just going to have to wait. You're not the center of the whole world. Sorry, my dog. I've been out all night doing a paranormal investigation, so my dogs are like up my butt.
Yeah.
They will smell you long before within 300 yards of the children. Oh yeah, or so they do. I mean, there's always
Well,
lookouts.
that and their
Is it
hearing.
lookouts for the hunt? Is it look for the kids? There's always lookouts.
Yep. Yeah, that's one thing that we as human beings could learn from the dog man pack mentality, or even the wolf and coyote pack mentality is, when we're supposed to be protecting our children and stuff, it's more to just listening. It's more than just visualizing, you know, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's smelling the air, and it's exactly what Urso said, it's you use every sense you have to keep your pack safe, especially your young ones.
Mm-hmm.
So something mankind could definitely learn from. Thank you, Roxanne, for entertainment purposes only.
They had that up, and then the girl had to come in and say that it was for entertainment purposes only that I married. Oh. Ursula says monkeys are different. They're really non-caring and brutal to others. They can outside of their clan. Yeah, they very very much are. Yeah, they're very territorial,
Yeah,
but they are
yeah.
known to even welcome humans.
But then again, it's with any wild animal. You're going to have your instances where certain breeds of ape or monkey are going to be submissive to the alpha of the brood, and the way like chimpanzees do it and great apes do it is they keep their head low and don't look the alpha in the eye, and they'll hold their hand up, and if the alpha sniffs their hand and accepts them, they'll actually let them know by the hand gesture. They'll slowly push the hand down. If they don't like the person, they'll smack the hand or bite the hand. So I mean, yeah, monkeys don't eat their own.
Yeah, monkeys kidnap and assault children and rips them. They do it to rival clans too.
Yeah, chimpanzees are known for that. Chimpanzees are known to snap on an instance and brutally attack their handlers, or someone in their family unit, or outside their family unit. Chimpanzees can be very, very violent. So
Yeah. That if you shave them, they shave one of them, they look very human too. Do you think Dogman and Bigfoot communicate? Do you think they hunt together?
I
I
had
don't.
that same question Wednesday night, and I would definitely say that when there is an opportunity to work together, um, I don't see why they wouldn't work together. As far as communication goes, it's kind of like they have to have a common ground for communication, like humanity has. You have over what 2,000, 2,500 languages around the world. So the most common language for everyone to learn is sign language. Okay, the art of sign language. So that be like that's the way that indigenous nations used to talk to each other too. When they didn't speak each other's language, they would use sign language. Like the back of the hand when you do the saw method on it means friend. Okay, that meant friend in
If I remember
indigenous
right,
sign language.
this is. If I remember
And
right,
then
this is the river, ain't it?
yeah, and then you know so it would make
Tree.
sense that that they would be able to communicate, but it would have to be a common language that everybody knew, and that would probably be like some kind of sign language, you know. So
Hey, raspberry preserves,
Thank
baby.
you, Roxanne.
That's all I'm going to say, Juno. That's
Yeah,
all I'm going to say, Juno. Raspberry preserves.
yeah.
And
The
it's
Billy apes
99
are.
cents.
Yeah, the Billy apes, Roxanne. By the way, are very brutal. I mean, they're called lion
Mm.
eaters. So I mean, you're not called a lion eater for nothing.
Mm. Twista says, "Do you think Bigfoot used plants to heal?" I do. Do you think Dogman has that intelligence? Yeah, I believe they both do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, Native American culture, um, and oral tradition, even from my family, from what my dad was teaching me and my uncles, was that the bear was the first medicine man. Okay. And we learned from watching the bear what herbs to eat and bark to use in order to heal itself. So, yeah, it would make sense that they use plants and other things and barks and stuff, and even things to eat to make them feel better. So, yeah, it just makes sense.
Yeah, there was
Sorry, I
a.
got to get more
I
coffee.
don't remember. I don't remember what nation this story comes from, but they
Oh,
they
I'm
were
out.
talking about um, the hunters knew not to hunt this bear because of his medicine. We learned our medicine from the bear. And one day, some eager hunters went out and they found this bear and they unalived this bear. And when they cooked him, his the meat turned to ash that turned into mosquitoes, and that's how we got mosquitoes because they ate the bear that they weren't supposed to eat. I don't remember the whole story. That's the basics of it,
Yeah, there was
but
three
it's
hunters, three young hunters, three young warriors that went out and basically the elders and the medicine men told them to not hunt the bear because the bear was our first medicine man, and it'd be like killing one of
mm,
their own. And these for days went by, 4 or 5 days went by, and they didn't see any game whatsoever. No deer, no elk, no nothing, no moose. Um, so come about the seventh or eighth day, they're hungry and tired and just want to kill something to eat. Okay, because they're starving, and they come across bear and they see bear, scratching itself on a tree, like rubbing its back on the tree, and they looked at each other and said, well, we haven't seen any game, we should hunt the bear. And one of the warriors said, no, we shouldn't hunt the bear because it's sacred, like the elders say, and it was our first medicine man. And anyways, they decided, two out of the three decided that they were going to hunt the bear. The third one didn't want any part of it. Okay, so he had turned and walked away from it. Um, anyways, the two shot their arrows at the bear, and they unalived the bear, and they processed the bear and they put it into their pot, and they covered the pot and was cooking the bear over the fire pit, and they actually saw the lid on the pot rattling and shaking, like this, and pretty much the lid flew off the pot, and out of the pot came millions of mosquitoes. And from that first time where those two warriors killed that bear, um, the mosquito is here to remind mankind not to ever do that again. So, it's a lesson that humanity had to learn. And now every time you get bit by a mosquito, it's to remind you what you shouldn't have done, or what we shouldn't have done all those many, many years ago to bear. So, because we
yeah.
basically killed our own.
Mm-hmm. Twisted, that's kind of a double-edged question because it depends. I mean, there's so many scenarios. In some scenarios, a human will win. We got weapons that can annihilate a whole freaking state. You know, at the other instances, I mean, terrain can go one way or the other. Really, it just really depends on the place, the area, the time.
Yeah, the best way to answer that, as far as is from my point of view, Twisted, just so you know, would be to say, well, how would they fight? Think about it. Humanity would push a button and drop bombs and blow up the whole area and not care about residual, or collateral damage. Okay. Whereas Dogman, Bigfoot, and other cryptids might use more of a guerrilla attack, type of tactics, where they would attack and flee, attack and flee, attack and flee, strike and run, hit and run, and they would weaken their opponents that way over time. Whereas humanity hasn't got patience anymore. They're going to push a button and they're going to wipe out everybody. They don't care. The elitist assholes are still going to be here long after we're dead because their families are part of the cabal, whatever the heck you want to call it. They're going to be here a lot longer than we are. So they don't care if they push the button and wipe out an entire city. They don't care. There's more humans. We can have more slaves.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
I mean, it is what it is. That's the best way to for me to describe from my point of view on it. But yeah, I would think that they would do more of an attack, like a guerrilla warfare attack, where it's, attack and hit and run.
Do you know that I vaguely remember that one? I do remember how Possum lost his hair on his tail, but how Coyote lost his fur, I can't remember that. That sounds familiar, but it's been so long. But a lot of people don't know Possum used to have a beautiful tail. Well, he upset it, in short, he upset a couple of the others and they played a trick on him, and that's why Possum don't have a beautiful tail no more. Why do you think the population stays close to military bases? Yeah.
Yeah. I like Glitch Dragon's comment too, because it's right there. It's right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Do a lot. Yeah, I mean the medicine men of them definitely could use portals. Yeah. Oh, Shadow, honey, I'm on the live right now. You are being needy too. They all have billion-pound bunkers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, it's that question is it really is, like I said. I mean, train and time frame really.
Yep.
Yeah. I've got some needy animals right now.
I got to turn my coffee pot off because I'm out of coffee. All right. Yep. Okay. Don't want to burn my pot up. Boy, did that sound bad. Don't want to burn my pot up.
Rat tricked ox, and that's why it's the first animal in the Chinese zodiac. I've heard that, the girl. Yeah. Well, so coyote and spider, they're the tricksters. You have to be careful with coyote and spider, but you also have to be leery about fox. Fox is cunning and wise, but fox can also mislead you.
Yeah, let me see if I still.
You're welcome, Twisted.
Yeah, you're welcome, Twisted. We try to help, we try to answer everybody's questions, but sometimes the chat goes by so fast we can't catch it. But here's a picture I'm going to bring up that somebody sent to me, and it's an actual photo. And this is exactly what Ryan and I were talking about the other night, Wednesday night, and how much this photo? Actually, yeah, this actually resembled, what I saw, what he saw, as far as Dogman goes. I mean, look at the back legs, look at the hunched over. Yeah, I mean, you can't deny. Oh, thank you, girl with the gong. Thank you very much.
You're awesome.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I was
that
looking at that
picture
photo
is
yesterday.
yeah,
Come
that
on,
picture is
shut
really something. Really, really something. It blows my mind. And the way that the back leg is bent and all that is exactly what I
up.
saw laying on the side of the road next to that deer carcass um, here where we live, about a mile or so from our house.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like the dog man or was chasing the young buck across the road here, and it must have got hit the same time that the deer got hit
Mm-hmm.
because they were laying side by side, and this wolf type figure, which the only thing I could think of was a dog man. I saw the bottom of its foot and its length of its leg and the way it was curved and all that, just like that. And as it
Mm-hmm.
was laying there, and it was probably at least 6 foot tall, so it was probably a younger one, if not the runt. But yeah, it's when I saw this picture, it just blew my mind.
What I find interesting about this picture is there's no tail. I don't see a tail.
Yeah, but it could be there. It's
It could be, but I'm wondering if he's in the process of changing into from walking two legs to going on all fours, and that's why it looks kind of unnatural, like uncomfortable. I wonder if that's because he's in the process of doing that, and the fact that
yeah,
his arms are skinnier than his legs. But it does.
I
It
just
looks
thought
like an unnatural, uncomfortable one.
yeah. Well, I mean, when you're dealing with dog man, you got this depiction too without a
Mm-hmm.
tail. So I mean, maybe some of them have tails and some of them maybe have short tails. Maybe some of them don't have tails at all. Just it could be
Yeah.
like a birth
Oh yeah.
defect like humans, because there's some humans
Come
that are
on.
born with tails. So
Yeah. Squatch feel natural and ancient, but it feels like they've been engineered in some way. I don't know. I don't think so. Okay, that's it. You shadow. I can't have you up here doing what you're doing. You're being disruptive.
yeah,
Um,
well, there has been cases though where Sasquatch have been found, and the military and certain government scientists and three-letter
mhm.
agencies have experimented with them and probably cross used their DNA to for the super soldier program, or just to see what happens. I mean, the biggest problem with our society as a whole right now, as every human on the planet as a whole right now, is we give the olive guard or the cabals, the certain elitist families and officials, full reign. We don't rein them in at all. We are the reason that they are here. Okay. They
Mhm.
manipulate us every day of our lives for us to pay their taxes, to buy their goods and their merchandise and their food, to drink their bottled water. Why do you think they poison our rivers and streams and lakes? Because they want us to buy their bottled water. Why do you think that accident happened in Ohio with the train derailment and all those chemicals went into the streams and rivers? They don't want us drinking that water. They want us drinking their bottled water. So, and there are companies out there that put lithium in the water. Did you know that? There's bottled
Yeah.
water companies out there that put lithium in the bottled water. Why? Because lithium reacts in us, makes us subdued. That's why. And when you're dealing with a slave race, you're dealing with wanting to keep them subdued and calm and in line.
What's going on with this? Sorry, I was switching out devices. I'm still downloading stuff from last night. I've got three more devices I've got to upload to my computer. One of them just finished, and now I'm starting on another one. Get back here. I've seen a tan coyote that has long torso, weird and misproportionated. Got its attention. It leaped straight up and in the woods over a 4.5 foot blackberry bush. Yeah. Fuji, gosh, Mount Fuji. When you said Fuji, I automatically went to Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji, Japan.
Twisted is talking the water though. Actually, one of the waters is made by Nestle's, believe it or not.
Yep.
So you might want to, avoid a Nestle product as far as bottled water goes. And that's one of the Cabal families, so they ought to like me telling people not to buy Nestle's. I just keep putting a bigger bullseye on me, don't I?
Yeah. Roxanne says, I hear at times Gugwe can be mistaken for a dog man. My question is, where do you think Gugwe came from? Is it a cryptid or are all their own? I just know the stories I heard.
The Gugwe.
Welcome.
The Gugwe. First off, we used to call Gugwe the bear man. Before the white man came here, Europeans came here and declared this their world. We actually knew where Gugwe was at all times. We stayed away from him and he stayed away from us. But yeah, we've always called him the bear man because he does have that snout, a short snout on him that kind of makes him look like a baboon, like a big baboon.
Yeah, and I've always heard the stories of they were all the same at one time until white man. I believe it was when white man came, and there was division amongst them and Bigfoot on what they wanted to do with humans because they've lost faith in humans. So the Gugwe wanted to eat them, where Sasquatch did not, and that's where you get Gugwe. That's an interesting photo.
Yeah. I like how the eyes glow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, glowing eyes is great, but if somebody's got like glass eyes in its place, that can reflect the light. That's the problem with it. But I look more of what the body looks like than anything. That can be more telling than anything on that.
Well, the first thing you can tell, the first thing you can tell with this picture, Eric, is the fact that it's fake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the reason I say that, everybody, is because take a look when you're dealing with a Bigfoot with Sasquatch. You're dealing with something that has longer arms. The arms, the bottom of the fingers, the tips of the fingers would be down to the knees. Okay, so basically, look at how short the arm is on this one that's swinging out. Okay, it's not even close to being down to the knee. Okay, so that in itself tells me that this is a human in a suit.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of looking, because it's a little hard to tell, but I'm not seeing definition as far as muscle. It looks, down here, look at this leg. This one leg, it's planted, not the one that's moving, but the one that's planted. It looks like the suit's crinkled up.
Mm-hmm.
This is the stuff that I look for.
Yeah, I don't believe this is real at all. I think this is completely 100% fake. Of course, we've all heard of this legend.
We got a super sticker from Scott. Thank you, Scott. You're awesome, buddy.
Oh, thank you, Scott. Thank you very much. And we've all heard of the Raven Mocker.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a good point there, Urso. And I've told people this all the time. Like, you got game cams up all over your woods. If you got Bigfoot, you should capture them. And I've tried to explain to them several times. Like anywhere where my game cam is, you'll find a formation of an X with trees everywhere. It's in sight, right outside the triggering range of my game cam. I'm a firm believer they can see the IR light, and they know what it is, so they don't go in there. They put that formation up to say, hey, don't go past here. This is here. I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah.
Can't tell me one teetarded Sasquatch wandered in front of a camera. I don't know. Hey, Tracy. I don't know her, so I'm not a big, just like that one video everybody is on a hoopla about destroying the crime scene at this place. If you watch how he handles that tree, I'm sorry, a tree that big, if it was Bigfoot, he can handle it a lot easier than what he did. You see how it struggled with that tree to pick it up, to smash. Once I get a tree up to here, I can swing it down and smash it. That ain't the problem. Getting it up to here to be able to do it, that's the problem. It takes a lot of strength to do that. And the fact that it fought with that tree is why I'm not a big fan of that photo and that video. Twisted said, tell me about the feathered serpent. You talking about Mesoamerica, Quetzalcoatl, or Kukulkan? Oh, no. The feathered serpent, the one that the warrior finally defeated by getting the means from the witch, and he took the heart with him, and the heart made him do different stuff all the time until he exposed it to everybody and turned to stone. You talking about that one? That's just interesting. We're talking feathered serpent. Native Americans got stories about feathered serpents. Mesoamerica has stuff about. Oh man, hey Jason. Okay, yes, Twist. Okay, Mesoamerica has stories about feathered serpents. I mean, there's got to be some validity to it. Oh, you're mute, bro. I thought that was weird. I was like, man, he's awful quiet. Now you're not muted. Why has it been doing that to us here lately?
I have no idea. But anyways, I was saying, look at the Naga. The Naga race is a race of reptilian snake-like beings. So maybe that's not too far off that Quetzalcoatl and some of the others were actually legitimate.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I've showed pictures straight from Google Earth on my show a few times now, where in the United States you can see Quetzalcoatl. The remains of Quetzalcoatl in the United States. You can see the feathers. You can see the dragon look to it. Everything is right there.
Well,
yeah, there's a ton of stories about it.
It's like I always say.
Yep.
I like the way this William Tompkins describes it as the Draco Reptilian Illuminati. because that's probably the best description as far as describing what we're dealing with today. That's in control, and that's, by the way, they're running to other countries right now because of a certain somebody in office. Just so you know.
Yeah, so is a little butt. Yeah, I mean, if I could pull it up, I have to go back on Google Earth here. And anybody can do this. That's why I was showing you that one day on my show. Anybody can do exactly what I'm doing to see what I see. It's not that hard. I mean, we was looking at the whole Hawaiian island chain. Looks like that of the remains of a giant serpent, giant snake, and right below it is a freaking dragon. And this is stuff that everybody can do. I'm nobody special, man. I'm not that intelligent when it comes to technology, and I can find this stuff.
Well, the one thing you got to remember too, though, when you're dealing with technology, is you're dealing with a technology that is already in a position to where it can manipulate what we see and what we know. So, I don't put a lot of faith in Google searches anymore. I really don't. I kind of look at it as
Don't
50-50. It's more of a 50-50 type of a
yeah.
scenario when you're dealing with Google searches or even Google Earth, because they can manipulate it just like NASA does. NASA,
Yeah, they did it with
manipulates a lot of their. I mean, how could we, not go to the moon again? We supposedly did it in the '60s, okay, with far less technologically advanced ways of doing it, apparently. But now they're saying we can't do it again. I'm sorry, folks. That's kind of suspicious to me. That's very suspect to me. So that's just me. I don't trust NASA. I don't trust the Smithsonian. Hell, I barely trust the government. Barely. Even the one that's in there right now. Barely.
I'm getting ready to share the screen.
I think the Diluvian world was feathered, to tell you the truth. I do. I believe wholeheartedly that the Diluvian reptilian beings, like the Naga, okay, were definitely, they had some type of feather. I think that they're probably, if anything, they could have been a cross species of genetics that was manipulated, back during, like the Anunnaki. When the Anunnaki came here, they they supposedly intermixed their gene with the gene species of animals and wildlife here on Earth. Okay, so if they did that, it would make sense that they created the Naga. Okay, it would make sense that there's other races that are half human or half somewhat human, and some form of wildlife, throughout history. It would make sense that would happen. So they say that Inky and manipulated humanity from the primates, that was back then. So, Jason, good to see you, man. Um, but yeah, it would make sense. I don't see why. I don't see why it wouldn't be that way. So that's just me. Besides, I'm Native American. I'm indigenous, so I like feathers.
Yeah. That's what I want to do. There, I got rid of the border. See this right here? I mean, you can see you can see the head. Something came out of his mouth when he was unalive. See the beard. Here, I'll zoom in close to the beard. All right, there's the beard. Come up here. You can start seeing the feathers. You can see more of the feathers and the other stuff coming off of him here.
Now,
Feathered
again,
serpent.
too, though, I want to let everybody know, though, that when we're dealing with this type of information with these giant cryptids and these giant beings of biblical proportion, you're looking at an oxygen level of at least 35%, because there would be no way that giants could survive, or some kind of giant like that size, which is almost an eighth the size of the whole continent of America. So it would make sense that you would need a higher oxygen level in order for them to sustain breath. Okay, which means it
You
would
got to
have to
think
be at
that
least
smaller.
a bare minimum of 35%.
Yep. And you got to think their nostrils were proportioned to their body was a lot smaller back then too, because they didn't have to inhale near as much oxygen. It was more pure. It was more good. It was more clean.
You were
And
going
they
to
say,
say it
well,
was
there's no
more
way.
gooder. You were going to say it
Yeah,
was more
well,
gooder.
I may be tired, man. I may be running on fumes, but by God, I caught my redneck butt for a second. But so and they're like, "Oh, there's no way that the Earth could have supported them that type of deal. They're too large." Well, I'm sorry. I mean, there's tons and tons and tons and tons of evidence showing of gigantic trees which would cause this. They're just.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I
And
mean, you can see.
Honestly, look at Urso's comment, and it makes sense, Urso. You're right. You're absolutely right. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. But what's the main complaint nowadays about global warming? What's the main complaint about global warming? There's too much O2.
Melting the ice.
There's too much O2 in the air, so that's causing the temperatures to rise. So that's that. Why do you think they want to put diapers and breathing apparatuses on cattle? I'm sorry, I'm not going to change some damn cattle's diaper. Let me tell you that right now. And besides, that has nothing to do with stopping the O2 from being made. You're just putting it in something that you have to throw out. So you're filling up our landfills with diapers the size of freaking, I don't know, a BMW.
Yeah. This right here. I mean, this is the Hawaiian chain. There's a dragon on the bottom of the ocean, right there. I mean, you can see it. There's a dragon, the bottom of the ocean of the Hawaiian chain, and
Well,
then you come to
that
the
looks
Hawaiian
more
chain
like a
itself.
Quetzalcoatl. That looks more like Quetzalcoatl, a lizard, feathered lizard.
Good. This is the Hawaiian chain, and look at it looks like a giant serpent, giant snake. That's the Hawaiian chains. This stuff, it's all there.
Well, look out from that.
California. Huh?
You're talking the long line of islands there, correct? But if you go out further in the ocean,
where my mouse is going.
Go out farther in the ocean, and from that straight line of islands, and you'll see Quetzalcoatl in the water.
You talking about the crab guy here?
No. Go back to where you were originally.
You talking about this one
zoom
here?
In. Now zoom in.
That one. There's the head, the horn on the nose.
Exactly.
The head. Yeah, right on. Uh-oh. Come on now. Quit. Work. Do what I want you to do. I want you to zoom out. Now, dang it. Zoom out. Okay, it's fighting. There it goes. Daggone it. Yeah, the feet, the body, the head, the horn.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want to see the Leviathan?
Down by South America, yeah.
I think I'm going the wrong way, Yeah, I'm going the wrong way.
Twisted says, do you think those dragons are sleeping giants?
No, I think they have been. There's Typhon. Right here's Typhon. I believe they were unalive during a Great War. Just had you up the other day. That looks different than it did the other day. Here looks like a tail, body.
Urso, that's correct, Urso. That is absolutely correct. I agree 100% with that.
You're straight up 100 on that. This looks weird. This is different. I don't remember this the other day. This right here. Wonder what's changed. Look how different from the rest of the map this here looks.
Well, they have been
into here.
Yeah, they have been having a lot of seismic activities in that part of the Caribbean. So
true. Nine. Oh, never mind. That's why. Sorry, guys. I'm uploading video from last night, so that thing popped up when I didn't want it to.
Oh.
There it is, Leviathan. If you zoom in,
I still say that's just a ridge line. I don't believe that's the Leviathan. I really don't. But that's just my opinion.
Kind of compelling. Yeah. For me, I mean, you got the eyes, you got the nose sensors, all in the right spot, and that looks just like a head. Oh, what the hell? Glitchy.
Yeah, but where's the rest of it?
Yeah. That's why, I hate to do this. I hate doing movie references, but I mean, actually, this freaking fits. Godzilla. When one died, he decomposed, another one took his spot. Is that what happened with Leviathan? Could this been the original Leviathan from the Bible, and we have another one now? Or is it just laying there sleeping? Whoa.
I'm under the impression. I feel like Urso does. I think that that the oxygen level to sustain something that big would have to be there'd have to be a way to regulate the carbon monoxide in the atmosphere, because that's just too big.
Well,
I mean, you're talking something bigger than the entire. It's bigger than the entire continent of Africa. So you would have to have something, to be some way to sustain that. So, to me, it would make more sense that the Leviathan is something that is within the depths of hell right now. My theory with the water and everything, as far as that goes.
It's hard to say. Hey, Corey, what I find interesting about Antarctica is look what you telling me this is all natural? What are they hiding?
Dude, that's all. I mean, we're looking at something that's manipulated too, though, Eric. Exactly. I'm telling you guys, you can't trust Google. Okay, you can't trust Google Maps. They are not going to show you 100% of the truth of our world.
No,
they aren't. They're regulating it and letting you see exactly what they want you to think is real. Okay. and until we realize that, you know,
That's
I
my
don't know
point.
what
They
to
block
say.
out.
I just don't trust them. I don't trust Google Maps any more than I trust the Smithsonian or the Bureau of Indian Affairs or any government in the world. Okay. I don't trust them. They are lying to us. They're just like NASA. Okay. They're just like the Smithsonian. You know, they lie to us by showing us images that they make, you know, and it's just, you know, it's getting ridiculous. Everybody's falling for it. Everybody is falling for it. It's absolutely absurd. You know, Tracy and I talk about this quite a bit, you know, when we talk about things, you know, the way everything's manipulated, you know, and it's completely manipulated. It really
Oh,
is.
it is. Some things they just can't hide. I mean, you can't hide the Rocky Mountains. It's there. People live on it. I mean, now places like Antarctica, the North Pole, where there ain't no population, easier to hide that stuff. Middle of the ocean,
Oh,
easier to
I'm
hide that
I'm
stuff.
I'm gonna I'm gonna show you an example of what I mean. Okay, and I don't mean
Mhm.
to piss anybody off. Okay,
Mhm.
but the Reese Perry map.
You are being a
Okay,
pain.
this map shows you the exact location and size of every continent and every country in the world. This map shows that South America is not the same size as Africa, okay, as the continent
Mhm.
of Africa. It's smaller, okay. This map shows Germany not being where they say Germany is, okay.
Mhm.
So, and this map is actually a legitimate map for the way our lands are laid out, okay,
Mhm.
size and proportion and location. So it makes sense to me that because of Google and AI and NASA and all these other quacks that think that they can lie to us about the way things are today are manipulating us. They're just completely manipulating us, plain and simple.
Mhm.
So, you know,
Oh, I agree, and
Alaska
that's
is
why.
Alaska is big, but it's not as big as modern maps and global things show it. You know what I mean? The same with the land by the Panama Canal. Take a look at that on this map. See how narrow it is? That's how it is.
Mhm.
Okay. I've been down there in the military. I was down there. Okay. So, you know, what Google and NASA are doing is they are just completely shoving sunshine up our asses. And that's about the only way I can put it. Okay, so I'm sorry, I don't hold a lot of weight and a lot of water into what Google says is factual, what's in our oceans or whatnot. Okay, if I can see it with my eyes and feel it with my touch, then I'm going to tell you that I 100% believe in it. But I don't believe Google or NASA or Smithsonian have our best interest at heart. I think they're going to lie to us every chance they get. I
Yep.
really do. That's just my
Yeah.
opinion. I'm sorry. I don't mean to step on anybody's toes, you know. I don't mean to offend anybody, but that's just my opinion. You know, they have been doing it since we were born, manipulating us. So, and we all
Being a
know that
pain.
that's how I feel, you know. So,
Yeah. I won't disagree with you on that, but I mean, like I said, that's why you got to sift through the stuff and look. I mean, some things they just literally they can't hide. There's no way to do it. You'll be taking
yeah, well,
taking two.
but they're doing a
Ah,
pretty damn good job at it, though. They're doing a pretty damn good
they're
job at it,
trying.
brother. They really are.
They
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 really are.
they are trying. It's no joke. That is for damn sure. That's why I showed the Antarctica one. I said, because this is shit they do. Why are they hiding this? What's the point of hiding this? That's why I wanted to show that. Look, yeah, they hide stuff too. What's the point of doing that on the Antarctica? What's the point of doing that on the North Pole? What is there to hide?
Yep.
Oh, crap. That one went quick. Sorry, I was swapping out devices here, and that one actually downloaded hella quick. Next one shouldn't. Yeah, sorry for the dinging, guys. I'm sorry. I've got my last device that I got video that I got to upload to my computer on so I can start going through it.
Anybody that knows us knows we're a little dingy.
Yeah, that one's going to take a while. Yeah, well, my computer just said it. Yeah, Twisted. I mean, they really are. I mean, and that's why I wanted to point that out. Is yes, you're going to see some features on there, which is great, but you also got to understand some other things that they're doing too. And this is the things we deal with. I mean, sadly, until we get in a space shuttle and go up into space, there's a lot of this we can't see because it's too massive. But there is a lot that we can. I wonder why they'd want to lie about giant bones. Savage 100. I mean, too many things in our history, even our own Bible that they supposedly adhere to, talks about giants. So, I mean, I don't understand at all why they would hide any of that. They seem to be institution of the old mystery schools and groups reference to Illuminati Knights Templar. Yeah, and Hand of the Black Snake. Illuminati Knights Templar. I haven't heard of that one before. I know the Knights Templar, but the Illuminati Knights Templar I don't know about. I mean, there's a lot of corrupt organizations out there. The girl, nah, not dingy. My computer said we were. I like the way you think, brother. I feel the same way. Jason. Sorry, I'm trying to get caught up on the comments here. Not dingy. We all have great minds in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, he did. I listened to that yesterday. I was trying to get caught up. I was doing some writing yesterday. Hey, Daryl. I was trying to get some writing done, and I was listening to his and Jessica's podcast, and I was listening to his and Ryan's podcast yesterday. Yeah, I can't do the midnight stuff because I'm in bed because I got to be up at 0:05 in the morning. So,
yeah. Well, Ryan and
once 10 o'clock hits, that's about the limit, and I've got to get.
Yeah, Ryan and I will be doing the Midnight Monsters the first and third Wednesdays every month. But I'm thinking about, alternating that with the Into the Red Rabbit Hole. So on the second and fourth Friday of every month, we'll have Into the Red Rabbit Hole. And on the first and the third Wednesday of every month, we'll have Midnight Monsters. So, that's the only way I can do it, because I was just, after those two podcasts back to back, I was just drained. This whole week has been, I don't know what's going on with me, but I have been wanting to sleep more than anything. And it kind of worries me because when I got my first cancer, that's all I did was I'd come home from work, I'd pass out, I wouldn't even eat, and I'd pass out and wake up the next morning to go to work. And then I found out I had that cancer. So, I'm hoping that this is just my body trying to say, hey, listen, you need to get more rest than you do being awake. So we'll see what happens. Thank you, Girl the Gong. Thank you. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Jessica, she's a whirlwind. She is definitely one to keep a close eye on, because with the boots on the ground and the information and her other talents, like the the oh uh the what is it, the remote viewing, excuse me, I had to think of it for a second, I lost my thought there. The remote viewing that she does, and her investigations and stuff, it pays to actually follow and subscribe to every channel she has, and support her as much as we can, because there are very few people that are going to be left after I'm gone that are going to think outside the box, and yet be as humble as they can with presenting it to people. Okay, and she is one person, one investigator, researcher, that I literally call my friend, and I'm proud to call her my friend. And so
Damn, these animals are being hellions right now. Yeah, I mean, definitely. There it is. Daggone. 50 freaking cords later, I finally find the one that I need. I got way too many cords. Yeah, I just got through pulling some batteries from my GoPros and trying to get things charged up.
oh man, Urso.
Yeah, they saw a video with and demanded I donate it. Said I'd sell it one. Wow.
That's not good. Yeah, and
No.
they and we all know that they have the capability of monitoring us 24/7 on everything that we try to. I don't like using this term, but I guess I have to, enlightening the public too. So yeah, Savage, I know that, but yeah, but I'm sleeping way too much, man. This is not normal. Um, but that's a whole nother story. I don't even want to get into that today. But it's it is what it is anymore. Griff, good to see you. Daryl, good to see you.
Hey, Griff.
Yeah,
Gosh,
yeah.
dang.
The Smithsonian.
Sorry, guys. Just bought my computer for my podcast, so it won't be. Ah, sweet, Corey.
Well, you got it. You got to put your podcast, Corey, in the chat. Okay, you have our permission to put it in the chat and drop us the link to it. That way we can help you promote it. Okay, so so don't be afraid to put the link and all that in the chat to your new podcast coming up. Okay, and that goes for anybody that's part of our Weirdo Warrior family. If you want to put your information in the chat, go right ahead. I don't have a problem with that. This whole community is supposed to be to help out everybody. So as long as it's not X-rated or something like that, or rude or mean, you have my permission to put your information in the chat so you guys can actually communicate with one another and help out one another. That's what it's for. Okay, plain and simple. So
I need to hire somebody for free to go through all this evidence now. That's something my daughter, so my daughter I took her for her very first paranormal investigation last night. And guess who's the one stuck in looking at evidence and who's not here today? Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. They have Black Aggie's statue in the basement of the Smithsonian. They took from cemetery, was said to glow midnight on full moon. The witch that burnt the school and and a live dog. Oh, wow, or so. Yeah, I mean they got a lot of stuff. I ain't putting that up on the deal. Um, you have to be mad at. Yeah, I mean that organization has hidden so much of our history. I can see me having a podcast called "The Life of a Crazy Old Woman." Ray says, "Good news, I'm still in remission." Awesome, Ray. That's awesome. Doctors are worried
That is
about
good,
the
Ray.
vitamin B and vitamin D. Had ultrasound done on liver, spleen, and gallbladder, waiting on blood work. Hey, dude, I'm glad to hear that. That makes my day right there, buddy.
Yeah, well, my vitamin D level and my vitamin B level are non-existent because of everything that I've gone through with cancer. So I have to supplement that as best as I can. So
Oh,
I
bud.
take I take something like 50,000 IU's of vitamin D2 three times a week, and that's a lot of vitamin D2. That's that's a lot of vitamin D2, and that's even just to get it up to where it's even registering. Um, but I also take the B12 supplements. I was getting the B12 shots too, but it got too expensive. I couldn't afford them. So I mean, I'm getting charged every time I go to the doctor. I get charged 70 some dollars. It's like $78 every time I go to the
Hmm.
doctor, and that's not even including the specialists. So it's getting ridiculous, and they want to see me like 3, 4, 5 times a month, and I'm just, I can't do it. I just financially cannot do it.
Yeah.
So
I pushed my surgery back. I'm not having it February 5th because I want. So I'm going to be going in, get some acupuncture done. There's a masseuse that's been known to help get rid of a lot of the issues I'm having. That's why it's causing the surgery. So I'm trying those methods first because I'm not looking forward to being cut on. I don't like going to doctors. I don't like being cut on.
all right.
Yes, I'm stubborn and I don't like to go to doctors. It's rare that I'll go to a doctor. That's usually because I can't fix it myself. Well, I mean, you're right, Boondock, but sadly, Fayetteville will pay for massages, but I'm out of Columbia and they don't pay for massages, so I got to pay for the massages out of pocket. But they'll take care of the acupuncture.
Yeah.
Really, just
Um,
depends on where you're at.
Yeah, well, the reason I pay is because first off, I don't go to the VA. I don't trust the VA. They killed my father basically, and they killed my brother Grizzly. So it's like I don't trust them. And until the VA gets their head out of their ass and starts taking care of veterans the way they deserve to be respected and taken care of, I won't go to them. Okay. I would be dead if I went to the VA with my cancer because they don't do it. They don't treat cancer. Okay. They don't treat cancer at all at the VA. They outsource it. Okay. At least the VAs around here do. So I had no choice. When I go to a cancer doctor, I'm not going to a VA doctor. I'm going to a specialist because the VA doesn't cover it. Okay. They refuse to cover cancer. Okay. Now, I hear that thanks to AI, which amazingly, kind of surprises me because I mentioned this several months ago, if not over a year ago, um, about AI finding cures for things. They're now finding out that, or saying they're promoting that AI found a cure for cancer. And now it's just a shot you got to take. You going to
Oh
trust the
yeah,
shot?
like 100%. 100% curable rate. And I start thinking, where have I heard this scenario before? Oh, I Am Legend. We created zombies by curing cancer.
Yep,
I know
exactly.
that's the one you're talking. Yeah. Griff, I mean, I'd have to agree with you on that too. Well, to a point. The doctor that I had was a very good doctor. My VA doctor was. He said, "You know your body better than I do, but I know your body, how your body works better than you do." So he listened to me, and thanks to him, I got out of the hospital when I was in there because he wouldn't let them do the standard practice for COVID whenever I was in there. My mom, sadly, didn't get the same treatment, and she never made it out. So yes, in some aspects, on VA side of it, Griff, it really depends on who you got, if it's going to be good or not. My time under Trump with the VA, the first time, was way better than any other time I've ever had. Under his care and under his guidance, VA was freaking awesome. Most of my stuff is outsourced to Mercy Hospital right now, though, because sadly that's the best one in the area that we got. Cox ain't that good. CMH ain't that good. So Mercy's, I'm kind of stuck with it, which used to be St. John's for us. Most of my stuff is outsourced to that. Now my doctor is retired and I have no doctor. And the lady that's stepping in, I am not a very big fan of. So it's hit and miss on who you get when it comes to them.
Right. So that's why I have to pay $78 a visit, because I have to go to certain doctors that take care of cancer patients. So, and it's ridiculous when you add up the number of the amount of money that you're spending. It's absurd. It's like being raped every month when you get your disability check, pretty much. So.
Oh yeah. And Mercy and Joplin's not that good. Yeah. To any people I know had problems with. Yeah, I mean, you know how it was in Springfield. You're kind of boned, Roxanne. Hey, Demos. Gene editing humans into non-humans. Yeah. The doctor that I had before he retired, he never pressed stuff on me because he knew how I felt, and he tried to press natural cures unless there was just no way around it. So he knew that's what I was into, and he listened to that, and that's what he pushed for. He would push the VA. No, we are doing this with him. I had an amazing doctor.
You know what they're saying with this whole cancer thing, as far as having a cure that's a shot. They're saying that ivermectin is part of the cure.
And hydrochloroquine.
Yep.
Ivermectin and hydrochloroquine has been known to get rid of cancer. Hydrochloroquine's been known to detach cancer from the body, ball it up. Now, sadly, you got to go in, slice it open, pull that ball out. But even hydrochloroquine is known to do that. And ivermectin is very good too. That's how I got off the respiratory machine when I came out of the hospital so quick, is because I started taking ivermectin and rubbing it on my wrist. And within a week, I was off that breathing machine. I had to have forced oxygen when I first got out of the hospital for like a week. A week after being out of the hospital, I was back at work. Ivermectin.
Yeah. Well, I'm reading Roxanne's comment about her doctor recommending the shot.
Yeah. I'm getting caught up to it. Yeah, I mean, sadly, Savage, that's we deal with that.
Hey, Robin. Good to see you.
Hey, Robin. Oh, I need to get with you, Robin. I need to get you on Rumble. You to take a shot. I looked at him and told him 4377. He's all over it. I refused to go to the VA when my mama was alive. They treated. Yeah, like I said, I mean, it really depends on who you got. I've had good ones and I've had bad ones.
Exactly. And it literally does depend
Yeah.
on what state you live in too, because that has a lot to do with it
Mhm.
too. So
Mhm. Well, I mean, you and me have talked. I mean, we can't get in depths, but like we're both master masons. We're both ancient free and accepted masons. Your stuff over in your area is totally different than it is in my area. There's
yeah,
differences that way too. I mean, that
yeah,
and it seems to be the case with a lot of stuff.
yeah. Oh, well, I think we need to probably wrap this up here pretty soon because we're going on 2 hours. And we're going to have a
Hmm.
great show this Sunday, tomorrow morning. We've got Amanda Quill coming on, who is with the Cold Spotters Paranormal. And we're going to be talking haunted objects and haunted locations tomorrow morning. It's going to be a good one.
All right.
So we're going to be talking haunted dolls and divot boxes and all kinds of stuff. And then haunted locations. So check us out tomorrow morning, everybody, at 11 a.m. Eastern. Okay. And then we've got Into the Red Rabbit Hole coming up next Friday because I didn't do it last night. So we've got that coming up. And we're going to get into the whole theory of Y2K and 2012 and the whole death type of a scenario, a conspiracy theory that shifted us into the world that we're in right now. So it's just theories and stuff and conspiracy theories. So it's going to be a good one too. And then of course next weekend we'll have the morning brew shows again. And then the following week we'll have Midnight Monsters again. So it'll be, we're going to alternate it with Into the Red Rabbit Hole. So twice a month for each of those.
Hmm.
Midnight Monsters twice a month and Into the Red Rabbit Hole twice a month. So that way I don't get
Heck
burned
yeah.
out. So yeah, Robert the Doll.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Brown
I'll
Mountain
have to put them
Lights.
on
Yep.
the list.
That's one we're going to be bringing up too. Yep. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
But Eric, why don't you please like, heart, and share this out, please, today. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We're like 99 people away from 1,000 people, which would be fantastic to hit. So if you guys know anybody that is interested in this type of stuff, um, put the word out. Ask them to go ahead and sub, if they would please, to the channel, because it would mean a lot for us to hit at least 1,000 subscribers. And like I said, we're like 90 some away from it. So that would be great if we could. But like, heart, and share this out. I appreciate everybody in the comments. Yeah, we're going to be covering the black flying things in the sky too.
Yeah.
So, but
Robin says, I have a picture of a dog man peeking at me and the little people, but I'm very careful who I show them to. Nighthawk, I sent you a message on Messenger.
okay, sounds good. Sounds good. I'll definitely look at it and I'll get back to you. So, but
As far as
go
my
ahead
channel
and
tonight, we're going to
yeah, I was
sorry.
just going to say go ahead and just let them know what's going on with your channel and your books and stuff too.
So tonight we'll have campfire chats with Eric and guests. That's a safe place for you to come and share your experiences. If you want to come on live, I'll bring you on live. If you just want to talk about it in chat, we'll just talk about it in chat. I will hit a little bit of over what happened last night. I'm probably going to save more of that for Sunday's show to get in depth on the Springfield Commercial Club investigation I just did last night. But I mean, I'll talk a little bit about it tonight. There's a lot of There was a lot of stuff last night, and I'm hoping I caught a lot of it. One issue I did notice is, unfortunately, my cameras didn't record everything from my iPad, so I've got to fix that. But so we got that tonight. I did start a new book. I've got to send chapter 1 to William. I've asked William to help me with it because of the nature of the book, and the title is not set yet. But as of right now, it's the life of Snow Fox, and it's basically this old man at the end of his time before he takes the great journey is telling the story of his life. So I've got the prelude done on that, chapter 1 done on that. I've got to email that to you today too, brother. As soon as I'm done downloading this stuff, I got to email that to you. I am going to finish up the Beast of the Ozarks and my Western Cody Barrett, the start of a legend. But I felt a really strong pull the other night, and I was talking back and forth with William about it. I was like, I can't explain why, but something is telling me to write this book. So when I got up in the morning, I didn't sleep well. I mean, I should have started it that night, and I didn't. I fought it and went to bed. My sleep was very restless all night long. So I mean, I just got up and went to writing. And you can see the rough draft of the prelude. I did put a video out on my YouTube with it. So just look up the life of Snow Fox. His health is decaying. Oh, Jason. No, dude. Oh, thanks, Roxanne. I will be getting the other stuff done because I'm over halfway done with Beast of the Ozarks first kill. Griff, that is a very good point. I am kicking that. I am kicking that around. The problem is if I do it, it's going to have to be on my Patreon, and I'm not sure if people will actually pay to be an alpha reader or not. I have not decided it or not, and I probably won't call it an alpha reader. I'll probably call it like, because a lot of my stuff is Norse based, probably like my Inhayar readers. The chosen of Odin, and it'd be kind of that theme there. But I am kicking around making that an option that I think will help me on my writing because I'm dyslexic. I'm very dyslexic, so any help I can get would be great. But thanks to Brother William, he's helping me out with this book, and I feel a strong pull to write it. And honestly, I've really enjoyed writing this. This has probably been one of the funnest books that I've started in so long because it tells such a passionate story. So this is not cryptid horror. This is a historical account, historical fiction account of a Lakota brave, Lakota warrior. So that's what I got going on.
That's cool. Jason, I'll be doing prayers for your father. Okay. And know that
yes, Jason.
No matter what happens, Jason, that you have family here. Okay. I want you to know that. Okay. We are here to help one another. Okay. We may not be physically able to, or we may not be physically close by. It may just be over the chat, but we are here in case you need to talk. Okay. So everybody, please keep Jason's dad in your prayers. And, Jason, let us know how he's doing. Okay. If you don't mind. I want you to take care of yourself, Jason, and know that you have family. All right. Don't think that you don't, because you do. Okay. So,
a lot of us in here have been through this before.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of us. Me recently, I just lost my mom. So, I mean,
yeah,
we've been through this. So, I mean, we know what you're going through, bro.
Yeah. Everybody, I'm looking forward to tomorrow morning. So hopefully we'll see everybody there. Like I said, we've got an amazing guest. She's with Cold Spotters Paranormal, and we're going to get into haunted locations and haunted objects and all kinds of paranormal stuff. So it'll be a good one. Okay. Until we see you all tomorrow morning again, we love everybody. Everybody take care. Please like, heart, and share this out. And remember, question everything. We have that right.
Mhm.
Question everything. Okay. Take care, everybody.
Peace, love, and blessings, everyone.